Welcome to the beautiful Greek island of Hydra and Hydra town, built on the slopes of this island overlooking its harbour and the Argo-Saronic Gulf. In the summer, Hydra is a very popular tourist destination and the numbers swell considerably. There are about 3,000 permanent residents on the island at any one time, but up to 50,000 visitors come here in the summer, and it's a very small place, so it feels very busy, very hustly and bustly. It's fantastic for a day trip. And a day trip, or perhaps 2 or 3 days, is very easy because it's about 2 hours from Athens, about 70 kilometres, and you get the ferry from Piraeus. There are 5 ferries a day in the summer, and there are numerous hotels on the island that you can stay, or if you just want to come for the day as I have, it's perfectly reasonable to do this. There are no cars allowed on the island, which is just as well because there are narrow alleyways and steps. Account for a lot of steps if you come and visit here. But there are also about 500 donkeys, and those donkeys are used for all sorts, from moving tourists around for pleasure trips to carrying suitcases to the local hotels, and indeed I've seen them moving water and food as well. But they are not cheap. As a tourist, assume 20 euros per person for a 30-minute trip on a donkey, or 20 euros to move 3 suitcases up to the hotels. So we move away from the harbour to explore some of the alleyways behind the harbour itself and up onto the hill. And then after that, when we come back down to the harbour, we'll go and have a look along the coast at some of the immediate beaches accessible for a day tripper within Hydra. The narrow alleyways offer some respite from the heat of the day, and as you'd expect for any exclusive island, the quality of the shopping and the cost of the shopping is very high, but very rewarding if you like to browse. For a tourist, Hydra is all about the lifestyle. This is not the sort of island you want to come if you want big organised beaches and water sports and so on. But if you want a high quality, high experience island with a fantastic buzzing bar and nightlife around the harbour, then this is the island for you. And you can see they keep it in a beautiful state. There aren't a huge number of things to do on the island other than eat, drink, look at the scenery and enjoy the beaches. But there are a few places. On the hill, the yellow building you can see in the background is the Ecclesiastical Museum, and that is where I'm headed. That is where I'm trying to get up to. I haven't got a map, I haven't got a route, I'm just following the paths and going in that general direction. The further up the hill behind the harbour you get, the more residential and quieter the island becomes, but it's still a beautiful island to walk around, and the town is kept, I would say, in a magnificent state. The standard is the same everywhere, even in the residential areas, and it becomes quieter as you move up the hill because it's quite a climb. But you can see even some of the local residents here are very relaxed and very chilled and just enjoying the beauty of the place. If you come here with young children, be aware this is not a place for pushchairs, and it's very hot even in these little narrow alleys. There are numerous churches on this island. As with any Greek town, there are many churches, otherwise you're not a Greek town. But there are also 6 monasteries, the most famous of which I believe is Prophet Elias, which was founded in the 10th century. And here, after a lot of climbing and many steps, I've managed to find my way up to the Ecclesiastical Museum of Hydra. I haven't really come up here to look at any of the artefacts. Apparently it has 18th and 19th century artefacts from churches around the island in Greece. I've come up here because I wanted to look at the views. And there are some interesting views. Here we see a helicopter taking off. I'm not sure if it's a medical helicopter or a tourist helicopter, but I tell you what, it's certainly the way to travel on this island. It looks fantastic against the backdrop of the mountains and the Hydra town ranged up on the hills below it. It does raise a point though, if you live on these islands or if you're a tourist on these islands and you need serious medical help, for example, if I fell down these steps, you have to be medevaced. So make sure you've got travel insurance which covers that, otherwise you're in big trouble. And here we see some suitcases going up the hill, 20 euros just been spent. And we go down back towards the harbour, and the shops start again. Very nice shops, as I mentioned previously. And the tourists reappear. Hydra means water, and the island of Hydra was apparently named after several freshwater springs which used to exist on the island but have now dried up. The island has always apparently been relatively sparsely populated, and in prehistoric times there is very little evidence of life on this island. In 1460, some Albanians from the Peloponnese settled the island and established the town of Hydra as we now see it, in an attempt to escape persecution from other factions within the Peloponnese and the Greek peninsula. Hydra remained relatively sparsely populated between the 16th and 17th centuries, and during that period of Ottoman rule. The island was frequently attacked by pirates and was restrained in its trade by the war between the Ottomans and the Venetians, which ended in 1715. By 1790, the island had overcome the pirates and the Venetian War had ended, and the island had developed a very bustling shipbuilding industry, building ships of up to 250 tons, which were quite significant in the Mediterranean at that time. And they had about 100 ships and about 10,000 people. However, in 1792, there was a devastating plague that wiped out almost the entire population of Hydra. After the plague, the island population recovered very quickly because of the tremendous potential trade that the island enjoyed and its ability to build ships. So by the Greek Independence War of 1821, there was a population on the island of about 20,000. That's about 10 times the standard population now. However, the island was very reluctant to raise the flag of the Greek independence because of the fantastic relationship that they had with the Ottoman Empire and the trade links that they had. And it was only in about 1822 that they actually joined the revolution. When they joined the Greek Revolution, it was very important because the island brought about 150 large boats and 10,000 highly experienced sailors to the Greek cause, and this dramatically changed the balance of power in the naval forces of the region. So as we can see, the beaches that are immediately accessible from the town of Hydra are not really beaches, they're rocky outcrops which have been developed for people to swim and enjoy the ocean. Certainly sunbathing, the views are amazing, but there are no water sports, etc. There are other beaches further away, 2, 3, 4 kilometres from the town, and you either access these via bike or hiking, or you can get water taxis from the harbour to these beaches. And there are 8 or 10 well-known beaches on Hydra which are accessed in this way and people would go to for the day. After the Greek War of Independence, Hydra lost all of the economic benefits that the Ottoman Empire had afforded it. All of the treaties and financial benefits disappeared, and the island entered a time of decline and significant economic hardship, with the population declining ultimately to where it is today. Shortly after the Second World War in 1948, the island listed its main industry as sponge fishing, but even that only lasted a short period as it very quickly declined with the industrialisation of sponges. In the late 1950s, Hydra experienced a dramatic revival in its fortunes when Sophia Loren, the great Italian actress, was the star of the first ever Hollywood movie made and shot in Greece, on the majestic island of Hydra itself. And this just transformed the fortunes of the island. In the 1960s, it was the place to be seen for Hollywood stars. Joan Collins and Leonard Cohen had holiday homes on Hydra, and ever since, the tourist industry in Hydra has just bustled with the glamour of those 1950s days. And here we see the historical archives of Hydra, housed in the Samadou mansion. These mansions ranged around the harbour are the old houses of the incredibly rich and successful captains of the boats from the 18th and 19th centuries in Hydra. I hope you've enjoyed our little tour of Hydra. It is a beautiful island. It's well worth visiting for a night or two or just a day trip from Athens. If you have enjoyed, please subscribe, please like, and if you look at other videos on my channel, I have numerous videos on Greece and other countries as well. So I hope you've enjoyed and thank you for watching.